So this is a super affordable, probably one of the most affordable 4K action camera out there, and this one is being sold either online and in your local brick and mortar stores. This is the Akaso EK7000. Okay, so I bought this on Amazon. They're having a, I guess, limited time deal. This thing costs $56 shipped plus tax, and so I bought it. And the reason I bought it is because I bought a kayak and I'm looking for a waterproof action camera that I can mount on top of the kayak while I'm doing kayak trips and things like that. So I saw this. I don't really want to spend money on a GoPro Hero. I had a Hero 10. I don't really like it, so I think this actually works better for just kayaking around. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, so if I need 4K, footages that's in a better quality, I'm gonna be using my iPhone. But otherwise, I think this camera is gonna be suffice when mounted on kayak, just doing time lapse and general documentation during the trip. So I'm gonna open it up and see what's inside. And for sure, in the next section, once we finish unboxing, we'll test its video quality. Okay, so we'll definitely go check out the video quality. And this one, again, it's made in China, just like most other electronics nowadays. Let's open it up. So it comes with a lot of accessories, if you can see. Okay, a lot. And I'm excited to find out what $56 gives us. And as you can see, when it arrived to me from Amazon, it's already damaged a little bit. So let me put my camera down and grab everything out so you guys can see what exactly is inside. Okay, so this is the camera out of the box. You can leave the box away and take a look at all the contents. This is the camera itself. I mean, it looks pretty decent, just like a dash cam or a 4K cam nowadays. And we have all the accessories hidden in this box over here. Okay, so you have a registering warranty card. Looks like a little wrench. I don't know what it is. This looks like a remote start and stop recording button, which is kind of interesting. For a $55 camera, it comes with a remote. A lot of screws and knobs for you to mount this onto different kinds of accessories. This looks like a tripod mount over here. And this looks like two helmet mounts. And this looks like a handlebar mount. And this is a clip mount, so you can literally put this on top of your hat if you want. Okay, so quite generous offering of accessories for $56. And this is a standard, looks like a high mount for like connector. So this one clips into one of those mounts. Okay, and this is a housing, not a waterproof housing. The waterproof housing is already mounted on the camera right here. Some more screws and adapters. Those, I suspect, they're GoPro compatible. Okay, so you can probably use those on the GoPro accessories as well, because they do like GoPro. And they provided very generous 2 batteries. I wonder if there's a third one in there. Another kind of GoPro like low mount over here. USB cable. This is a micro USB cable, so slightly outdated. And this is looks like the cover for the bottom part, or a backup cover of some sort. And some zip ties for you to tie on the handlebar, maybe. 2-sided tapes and a lens clean cloth. And you have some Velcro straps also included. Quite a lot of accessory. I'm actually thoroughly impressed. This is a Velcro. It looks like you can mount this on your wrist as a watch kind of a thing. But for a camera at this price range, I wouldn't recommend any kind of extreme activity because it doesn't have in-camera stabilization. So and also don't forget to get some micro SD cards. I have some, you know, nearby, so I can definitely test it in a little bit. And you have a simple user manual right here, and that's pretty much all comes in the camera. So let's see how we open this. So I flipped this little cover up, and I think there's a clip over here that we need to like pinch and release, and that's what I'm gonna do, but obviously I have to do it with 2 hands. Alright guys, so now I got everything out of the plastic bag, or almost everything. I'll show you guys. So basically you have this major mount, which is right here, a secondary mount right here, this is for the tripod, and you have some sort of like clipping mount right here. Okay, basically the clipping mount, I believe, goes through here. I think it goes somewhere here. Okay, but it does have a lot of different kinds of mounts. Those looks GoPro standard mounts. So basically you mount this accessory onto everything that have those kind of like 3 tabs looking thing, and that's how you mount this camera. So a lot of different options. And also that Velcro that I saw, it's for the remote control. So if you have a watch on one hand, the other hand, you could have this, and you could mount this, you know, somewhere a little bit further away on the kayak. When you hit the start, it's gonna start recording, and when you hit stop, supposedly it's gonna stop recording. The main camera is buried in a whole bunch of accessories, which is quite a lot. So it only comes with 2 batteries. I thought it comes with 3, but unfortunately it only comes with 2. You have a little petite, cute looking charger that's USB, micro USB powered. So basically this little wire is gonna plug into the thing, and it's gonna charge. And I believe if you plug it into the camera right here, it's also gonna charge the battery inside. Okay, you have a micro USB port here, you have a micro SD card slot right there, memory card slot, and you have a HDMI output right here, which is quite interesting. Nobody's gonna be using this for HDMI out, but they did have that little weird looking port right there. I don't think it's a touch screen, so you have to control everything, I believe, with those buttons right here. And there's on the top, it's a confirmation button, I believe, and on the front is the power button. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons total on this camera. You insert the battery by opening up this battery door. Again, horrible design because it separates. It's not connected. So very easy to lose it, especially if you need to change the battery, you know, during mid-shoot. So you put the battery in here, and you're gonna try your best to close the door and see if it actually powers on. Okay, it did. Actually starts recording pretty fast. From the frame rate, it does look like it's got a pretty decent frame rate, 1080p at 60 frames per second under low light, and actually looks pretty decent. Okay, says no card, obviously. Let's put a new card in here. This is a 64 gig card I bought from Amazon. Let's see which way is the correct way. And immediately it turned on Wi-Fi by itself, and I think it turned itself off, so the battery might be really low. Card error. Now that's the first issue that we encounter. I'll have to format that card and find out what's going on. In the meantime, I can use a different card, which is a smaller card from a Garmin dash cam that I bought. Hopefully this one would work. And those beeping sound is kind of interesting. Okay, so let's use a 16 gig card, see if it's gonna give me an error. Again, I'm gonna have to hit the power button again. And this time it defaulted to 1080p at 30 frames per second instead of 60, which is interesting again. So I'm gonna try to hit the top button, or actually let me try the remote. Oh wow, it actually works. So if I hit the remote, it actually started recording right there. Okay, so maybe at the same time I could show you guys some of the footage that's being recorded on this little action cam. Alexa, turn on computer light. All right, so it's pretty late, so my light automatically turned off, and so here we go. Looks like I need to reset the time as well. Okay, so, and again, I still haven't figured out what this is for. It looks pretty weird. Is it for this? I guess this is used a wrench to tighten those kind of knobs. Okay, so if you want like a super tight fit, you use this little wrench, and I think it's gonna do its magic by tightening it. But don't over tighten, because a lot of those parts are plastic, right? So yeah, it's recording, and the screen automatically turns off after, looks like 1 minute. So there you have it. The next time you're gonna see me, I'm probably gonna be mounting this onto the kayak while doing recording. Now, one big thing to note is that this camera itself is not waterproof. It's plastic and it's got lots of holes, and if you expose this without the housing into water, it's gonna be dead right away. Okay, so make sure you don't really expose this in the water. Let me see if those buttons do anything. Okay, so there's playback and gallery mode. I want to know how to get into manual. Okay, so there's manual. All right, so again, not a touch screen, and a lot of those you have to kind of just do with the click button, but it looks like it works fine. Okay, I'm gonna try 4K at 30 frames per second. Looping video, no. Timestamp, we need to do some adjustments, but those are the settings that's available. Time-lapse, microphone, frequency, language, date and time, sound, upside down mode, screensaver, power saver, a format, reset, and the version. Let's see. So this is version 221201 V2K. Okay, so that's the version. And I don't know what eraser is. Exposure, is there okay, so it's nice that they even got exposure compensation for you. Okay, so quite useful, even though this is basic. Again, $55, extremely cheap build quality. But again, the waterproof housing is kind of nice. If you put it in there, your microphone is pretty much gonna be useless. So just keep that in mind. But initial impression is pretty good for a $50 camera, and we just need to test the video quality in the next section. All right, so I have set the recording to 4K at 30 frames per second, and I'm at a very dim space. This is our living room without any lights on, and most blinds are closed, and this is what it looks like. So the camera, actually looking at the preview, it does provide a very wide field of view. I believe it's 170 degrees, and from that, I mean, if you need image stabilization, because this machine doesn't have any, you could do post-processing and just have the camera crop out, you know, a little bit of the frame, and you should be able to get that stabilization that you're looking for. And this is our cat Benjamin, and he just wants to go out. And right here is a door So this area is kind of lit okay. It's not, you know, super well lit, but it's lit okay, and you guys can just judge for yourself what the image quality is looking like. Okay, and so again, the room is actually very dark, and this is a low light, I would say low light condition that you're going to expect for this camera at 4K recording. Alright, so obviously later on we are going to take this camera outdoors and of course put it on my kayak, and then we'll try to see how well this performs on the kayak. But for now, Benjamin has given us a good example of the low light performance. And also, I don't know how the microphone is going to be sounding, but this is in the case. Okay, so the image is going to degrade, the image quality is going to degrade because in front of this case there's another piece of plastic kind of lens in the front, which is going to degrade the image quality. So if you want to use this, you know, close to water, the image quality is obviously not going to be as good as using it outside of the case, fully exposed and not waterproof. So there's a trade-off that you're going to take. Alright guys, so after using or testing the Akaso EK7000 4K 30 frames per second ultra high resolution camera, whatever, I have decided to return the camera because the video quality is literally pretty bad, and you can't use the camera itself without the water housing if you want waterproofability. A lot of other cameras does, but this one you need to put it in a case. The case has a plastic lens on the front, which if you put it in there, it's going to degrade the image quality further, and it's also extremely cheaply made. I did my unboxing, and today is the first day of testing it, and I'm already made my decision. I'm going to return this camera for a refund and probably get something better like a GoPro or maybe a Insta360 action camera, because this camera just does not cut it. Okay, despite the fact that it comes with a whole bunch of accessories, if the image quality is bad, I mean, nothing is going to cut it. The action camera needs good image quality, and this one does not have image stabilization. I tried to stabilize the footage in my DaVinci Resolve, and the stabilized footage is also pretty crappy looking. It's nowhere near the smoothness of the GoPro's the image stabilization. So that's the reason I decided to return it, and this would serve as the last footage that's come out of this camera. And also the camera also heats up really badly when it's recording. Like doesn't matter if it's 4K footage, 2K footage, or like 1080p, it just heats up really badly. And imagine if you put it in a waterproof case, it might just overheat and stop recording by itself. Lastly, the memory card issue. So it's not supporting a 64 gig micro SD card, so I'm assuming probably the largest format it's going to support is 32 gigabytes. And so there's again another limitation on the amount of footage that you can record. It does come with 2 batteries, which is nice. I don't know about the battery life since I'm not going to be able to use it or test it fully, and it's, you know, the sample footage is just really bad. I guess at the very end I'm gonna just take this camera outside so you can see how well it performs in an outdoor setting in full sun, so at least the sensor is gonna work to its maximum potential, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna go outside and walk around a little bit. And again, I did not try the 4K recording because the 4K footage was, again, not that good, and 1080p at 60 frames per second also pretty crappy. So I think this camera actually has either a 2K sensor or a 4K sensor, and it's downsampling the footage from that sensor. So when I was doing the
when I was doing the recording for the 1080p at 60 frames per second, it's just like really blurry, and it looks like the camera is doing a pretty crappy job just downsampling the footage. And so this is the 2K footage. I'm gonna review it, and I'm gonna let you guys know whether I think this is a 2K sensor or a 4K sensor. But yeah, this machine just struggles with producing a quality image. So my suggestion is go out, spend just around $150 to $200. You should be able to find a GoPro, maybe a previous generation GoPro at that price range that's going to produce excellent imagery with image stabilization that's pretty much required nowadays for any kind of action, and also the waterproofability. This camera by itself, as I'm doing right now, holding it, it's not waterproof. It's out of its waterproof housing, and it's just very cheaply plasticky camera with lots of holes. It's gonna go bad once I drop this camera in the water without the waterproof housing. So that's pretty much it. So again, this is kind of like full sun, not full sun, but kind of a cloudy day, and this is probably gonna be the best that it's gonna look like. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of the post-processing and see how well it goes, but this is bad, okay? I do not recommend this camera, and this would be the last footage of the camera. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please do hit the like button or subscribe to the channel, and I should have more gear related videos coming out for you guys. But this is just one bad example of cheaping out on the action camera. Don't do that. Just buy something slightly better quality. Okay? Alright, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.